What's up, beautiful people? It's Sindafam. Welcome to the channel. Today we have this very interesting video from the officer Tatum and it's titled Hughley's Woke Rant proves what's wrong with black community. Interesting. I'm excited to check this one out. Let's check it out.
Black people that succeed are the exception and not the rule. And what they say to black people who succeed is to everybody else, look at them, you can do it too. The rule generally is most people don't succeed because there's too many things that are leveled against you. What they do is take the ones that do succeed and make the people that didn't feel bad because you should have been able to do this exceptional thing that happened. All everybody wants is to be regular and have a decent life.
This video is brought to you by Tatum Plus, TatumPlus.com. Ladies and gentlemen, brand new subscription program. I say subscription program. I don't even know what to call it. It's exclusive content. We have some interviews, do a lot of other cool stuff. You get a crazy discount on the store in perpetuity if you're a part of Tatum Plus. And we're going to grow it out. We're going to put movies on there. In my future, the future of what I believe it's going to be is we'll also have other people like myself and influencers on there. We're going to try to make it big. We're going to try to make it worth it for you. It's already an amazing platform, but we're going to keep growing it. You need to be a part of it. TatumPlus.com, TatumPlus.com. Me and my wife got a relationship podcast that we're doing on there, the Cigar Lounge, Content Classroom, everything that you can think about, we will be doing it on Tatum Plus. Like and subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you get notification anytime I go live. You already know what to do. Let's get into this. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to play the clip from D.L. Hughley. And I'm just going to preface this because I want people to understand this simply because I think that there's value in nuance. I wasn't always a conservative like I am today. I remember listening to James T. Harris on the radio, and James T. Harris would bash Barack Obama all the time, and I said he was a sellout Uncle Tom. So that, and I was a cop at the time. I had a take-home car. I would drive my take-home car, and I would turn it on the radio because it only had radio. I couldn't play CDs, or it didn't have a Bluetooth connection or nothing. It was an old raggedy car. Put it on the radio. James T. Harris would be on there. He's a black conservative. If you don't know who James T. Harris is, and he would just bash Barack Obama, and all of it I found out later was true. But I used to get mad at him. How did a black man talk about another black man like that? So I understand where people are coming from. That's also how I understand that it's wrong. That people need to change the way they think.
Sure.
And so let me play the clip from D.L. Hughley because I grew up with so much love and respect for D.L. Hughley. I thought he was an incredibly funny comedian. I still think he has a very good talent in being a comedian. He's funny. He's not as funny as some of the other ones that I like, but he was one of my favorite. Kings of Comedy was one of my favorite comedic episodes, or whatever you call it, comedic shows, or whatever. It was like a whole string of people doing comedic skits on there. The best black comedians in the country, I would argue. And so seeing him on there, growing up in the black community, loved D.L. Hughley. And now as a grown man, I see the things that he say is so problematic and ridiculous that I begin to not like him, even though he's a funny comedian. I want y'all to roll the clip of D.L. Hughley.
Black people that succeed are the exception and not the rule. And what they say to black people who succeed is to everybody else, look at them, you can do it too. The rule generally is most people don't succeed because there's too many things that are leveled against you. What they do is take the ones that do succeed and make the people that didn't feel bad because you should have been able to do this exceptional thing that happened. All everybody wants is to be regular and have a decent life. If you see black people they generally have done something exceptional. They've exceeded expectations. They have cut themselves. They have found a way to beat the eye. But they're held up at the example of the things you should be able to do when you're not. If everybody that lived in any circumstances had the ability to have a decent life, just being a regular dude, a regular, not exceptional, not unexceptional, just a regular person, I think we'd have less strife, but we don't. Because we see unexceptional white guys get to be these extraordinary things, and you're like, wow.
The dumbest thing I ever heard in my life. And I listened to the first part of that clip. I didn't even hear the end of it. It got dumber. And I'm glad I didn't waste my brain cells interpreting what he's trying to say. The biggest lie that he's telling is making black people believe that somehow being a normal black person will leave you in poverty. If you look at the statistical data, majority of black people live in the middle class in America. There are middle class citizens in America. The majority of black people are in the middle class. The minority of black people are poor. So that means, to me, D.L. Hughley is completely making up something from outer space, because if saying that you're not exceptional or non-exceptional, just live an average life or a decent life, he's claiming that it's not achievable by black people, then explain how most black people are in the middle class.
Exactly.
We all know, because he's an idiot. That's why he can't explain that, and he's not articulating that well. This fool is talking about exceptional black people doing exceptional things that nobody in the world has done. There is no LeBron James. White, black, or indifferent. I mean, you know, not to say white, black, or different. It's only a black LeBron James. There's no white man that's LeBron James. There is no white Michael Jordan. These black men are doing things that nobody has ever done, ever, and will never do again.
And that is true. Like, with this type of mindset, when they keep saying that blacks can attain to a certain level, and then you still see lots of black people doing that exact same thing or exceeding past those things that people say blacks can't do, then I begin to wonder, like, how are these people any different from the other black dudes or the other black people? Or is it that these people have two heads? I just don't understand how people will just sit and say blacks can attain to a certain level, or because of their skin color, only white people can attain to this level. Yet you still see tons of black people who are reaching and exceeding that, and you are still saying that in 2023? Nah. This type of mindset scares me. And it's sad that people will listen to this and buy into this ideology. Of course, yeah, people who reason and think like this would buy into this. And that is the reason why they don't succeed. Because when you constantly think that something is putting you down, something is weighing you down, you can't attain to the level, then what is it? You would sit and relax and not do anything. And yet you expect somebody to just come and lift you up when you're not ready. Just don't make sense. You can't continue to help somebody who is not ready to be helped. It's that simple. But yeah, let's go on.
It's just the truth. There will never be a white basketball player that's more prolific than Michael Jordan. Some people may say Larry Bird was in there. There will never be another Michael Jordan.
Exactly.
And if Larry Bird is counted, it's only like one or two white guys in the history of basketball, compared to the majority of the Hall of Famers, I would argue, are black players. Look at football. You know, some of the greatest players to ever play football were black.
True.
There would be when you talk about talent-wise, there will never be a white quarterback that's as talented as Carrington's favorite player. I forget his name now. Lamar Jackson. There will never be another Lamar Jackson as white. So Lamar Jackson's accomplishments are far up and beyond what anybody can ever accomplish. So when you put it in perspective, you say these black people that he's claiming that's exceptional, that do exceptionally well, it just doesn't exist in any other race. You look at Jay-Z and Beyonce. I mean, they're billionaires. You look at Kanye West, billionaire. You look at making billions of dollars in entertainment. I don't think that there's many white entertainers that's making money like Beyonce now.
Exactly. True.
Let's just keep it real. One of the most popular genres of music in the world is hip-hop music, dominated by African Americans, or Americans of African descent is what I like to call it. So you can't say that average white folks are doing these incredible things and extraordinary black people are maybe not even measuring up to what these average white people are doing. It makes no sense. Denzel Washington is one of the greatest actors. I mean, you go down a list of some of the greatest black actors. They make tons of money, and they're incredibly famous, and they're incredibly exceptional.
True.
It was another example I wanted to use.
Tyler Perry.
I mean, yeah, you go Oprah Winfrey. Like, This is the thing that bothers me about what he said. He tries to act as if there's only a few black people that have to do these crazy things, and they still fall short on the white people. It's just not true. Madam C.J. Walker in the early 1900s, late 1800s, was the richest woman, period. At a black, white, she was the richest woman, period. She would be a billionaire if you adjusted for inflation and all of the above. If you took her money then and brought it up to today, she'd be a billionaire. Madam C.J. Walker was the richest woman ever. Probably the richest woman ever in American history, but especially during her time. She was richer than every white woman probably that wasn't a part of the royal family and all that stuff, but like as an entrepreneur, she was richer than any white woman in American history. And that was in the early 1900s, late 1800s. She died in the early 1900s. But come on, man, D.L. Hughley is just he just building his perspective, and this is what the black leaders, the people that look up to black folks, this is what they hear.
Yeah.
It's always this idea that the white man is always a step ahead of you. When I don't know about white comedians, I don't really know who's the most popular white comedian, because all I listened to were black comedians when I was growing up. But I don't know if anybody did better than Kings of Comedy. I don't know if there has ever been an episode like that was better than Kings of Comedy, which was all black comedians. Hold the phone. I'll be back after the break.
The officer Tatum just broke it down and said absolutely what many people need to hear and many people should listen to, because constantly when you hear tons of people say, oh, there are no blacks who have attained to some certain level, or there are no wealthy blacks, or blacks are not cannot get to the average level as a white man, and I begin to wonder, like, the other people who look like you, who have attained to this level, or who are even there, do they have a different skin color or skin undertone that you're not seeing, or is there anything wrong? These people put in the work. I mean, they did not just wake up one day and all of a sudden become this. They work, they put in the work and a lot of determination. But of course, lots of people would rather sit somewhere and complain. And what even annoys me is the fact that you get these blacks who are successful, yet they sit and say that there are no blacks who have attained to this level. So was it any different for you to attain to this level, knowing that blacks have not attained to this level? Does it mean that you are the only black person who have attained to this level? Because I'm beginning to wonder what runs through your minds. I mean, come on. For people who sit and buy the idea and say, oh, blacks are always suffering, there are no opportunities for them because the white man takes everything, or the white man has all of the opportunities, their skin tone is something that is putting them down. And I always ask, in your neighborhood, do you have people in your neighborhood who are successful, who moved out, who had something good for yourself? Obviously, nobody would say in their neighborhood they don't have somebody who has attained to a certain level that is no longer in the same level as them. So, is that any different? Yet, you see tons of them on television. I mean, just like what he said, Beyonce, let's use Beyonce for example. I mean, I was a little girl when I started listening to Beyonce. And let's say this is 2023 and I'm much older and I still hear Beyonce singing, or Beyonce is still singing till now. She's still making money. But she's black, or but more than likely maybe she has some other skin color that we don't know. Let's even use Oprah Winfrey for example. I mean, I respect Oprah Winfrey and she's black, but I mean, tons of people have heard stories about Oprah when we were little, and we still have Oprah Winfrey in the picture today, 2023. I mean, she's black, but she is doing greater things or bigger things that people keep saying that many blacks cannot do, or would not do, or would not get to. Or do we still need to name most of these people again? Because there are tons of people, tons of blacks, and we all know them. And yet, you still hear the exact same blacks who come and sit and cry and say that blacks have not attained to a certain level, or they can't get to a certain level. Only whites can get to that level. And yet you are part of the people who have also gotten to that level, attained to that level. So what kind of mindset is that? Feeding people of the wrong narrative, and people buy into this. Is sick. I'm sure if we're counting or doing a count list or if we're writing a list of so many black billionaires, black millionaires, or average blacks who are living average lives, we will get a good amount of lists. So my point is, these people who attain to this level, or who have gotten to this level, what happened to them? But of course, I always love to listen to the Officer Tatum, especially regarding issues, subject matters, to topics like this. But I would also love your contribution to this. You can share other useful information you think might be really helpful. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and all of that stuff. And until next time, see you in the next video.